Let's go ahead and talk about my favorite consoles to collect right now. Before we get into it, I do want to let you know that I'm sick, so bear with me. Okay, so now that we have that out of the way, we are going to be talking about consoles that I absolutely love to collect for, but it's there's a few here and I want to talk about them all, but there's so many I'm going to skip over, so if there's one that you see that I don't talk about, comment down below and let me know. The first console we gotta talk about is the PSP. As you can tell, there's a sleeve on this one, but the PSP is one of those game consoles that I've been collecting for a few years now, and every time I find more games for this thing, I've gotta pick it up. Now, there's a bunch of reasons why this is one of my favorites, but first off, we've got to talk about why it's my favorite, and that's probably two things. One, it's a handheld console. I can take it anywhere. Technically, I can plug it into the TV with, hold on, wait a second, with this AV cable, which is kind of cool because it kind of makes it like a switch. And the second thing has to be these little UMDs, which are pretty awesome because basically they're just discs inside a plastic housing. PlayStation is always all about discs, from the PlayStation 1 all the way up to the PS5, if you don't count the discless versions. But for the most part, there's a ton of awesome games, and we're gonna talk about that, but we gotta talk about the system first, and this thing is really awesome. On the left here, you've got a D-pad and an analog stick. On the right, you've got the XY, not XY, what am I thinking? The X, square, circle, triangle. I always forget what it's called on the PlayStation stuff. I'm sorry, forgive me. You got R and L triggers, and that's pretty much it. There's some start, select, a home button, and even the plus and minus of the volume, but overall, this is a pretty simple system. The screen is not a touchscreen. There's not a touchscreen on the back like the PS Vita, but that's okay. This system is widely awesome, and I love picking it up. Now, some of my favorites have to be God of War: Chains of Olympus. I picked this up a few years ago. I first played it, and I can't stop talking about this game. This is a ton of fun. I love God of War, but I don't know what it is. Being able to play it on the handheld and on the go, it's just one of those things you've got to try. And then if you're weird and wacky games, if you're looking for those, Me and My Katamari is an amazing game. There's a few Katamari games, and they're all awesome and well worth picking up. This one's pretty fun because you just roll around. You pick up things that are smaller than you. You cannot hit bigger things, so when you hit them, you literally bounce back, and it's a pretty fun game, and it's interesting to kind of figure it out, but I enjoy this game for sure. And next but not least is probably one of the best games on the system, and that's Castlevania: The Dracula X Chronicles. This has Symphony of the Night and A Rondo of Blood, so if you are a fan of Castlevania and you don't have this, maybe pick it up because it's a ton of fun. There's a few other games I have here that we're just going to run through. We got Medieval Resurrection, totally fun game. Star Wars Battlefront 2, if you're a fan of Battlefront games, who doesn't like it on the go? It's pretty much the same game. You got Burnout Revenge. Actually, I lied. This is Burnout Legends. There's so many Burnout games. I always love them. Crashing Cars is totally awesome. And Tony Hawk's Underground 2 Remix. Like, what do I say? These are some amazing games. So if you have a PlayStation Portable and you are looking for games, pick these games up. They're definitely awesome. Most of the games on the system are around the 20 bucks or less, which makes it totally awesome. And I'm pretty sure that's one of the reasons that this stays in my favorite consoles to pick up, because the games are so cheap. Moving on, we've got to talk about the Nintendo Wii. And why is this so important? The reason is because about 1.5 to 2 years ago, back here on the CRT, I plugged in a Wii, and pretty much it's been right next to it the whole time. Now I've moved it and unplugged it for videos, but it's one of those game consoles that sat there and has always been ready to be hooked up if it's not already hooked up. And when I say these games are cheap, I mean most of the games that I'm going to talk about in this video I found for $4. So just keep that in mind when it comes to talking about it. Now sadly, this isn't like the PSP. I can't take it anywhere, But there are benefits, like, look, you can play GameCube games, so if you don't have a GameCube, or maybe you're wanting to get a GameCube, pick up a Wii that is backwards compatible, and you got 2 systems in one, which I think is pretty awesome. Now that we've talked about that, the motion controls for this system are one that actually works. A lot of the times when I think of motion controls, I'm like, oh, those games are not fun. It doesn't really work, and so they're really lame. However, Nintendo did it right, and I think no one's really been able to do it as good as the Wii did, and that's why motion controls really aren't a thing anymore. Now, we do have that on the Nintendo Switch, but, you know, it's not used too much. However, when it comes to the Wii, it is a ton of fun. There's even a really awesome zapper. Like, seriously, like, light gun games with this are actually a ton of fun. There's not very many, but you could put the controllers in and have a blast. Enough about that. We've got to talk about the games, which is why you collect for consoles. First off, Wii Sports. This was the game that was packed in with everything. It's a ton of fun, and you should definitely try it if you haven't already. Then I've got Mario Strikers Charged. I'm always been a fan. You'll hear me say this a million times. Sports games that are Mario sports games are totally amazing, and I love them. I might not even like the sport, but if you put Mario in front of it, I will play it and I will have a blast. Next, we've got Paper Mario. This is Super Paper Mario. I love this series. Every game in this series is a ton of fun to me, and I feel like that's why I had to talk about it. Moving on, cute games, Kirby's Epic Yarn. This is actually still sealed. I couldn't find my open copy. I don't know what that's about. This game is amazing. I love how they ended up taking Yarn and making it into a game. It's really awesome. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. This is Beijing 2008. There's a few of these on the Wii, and I've always been a fan of these kind of Olympic sports games. When it was way back on the NES, you had Olympic sports, and I had fallen in love with it. So anytime I get something like that, I always have to pick it up. Super Mario All-Stars. Again, this has a ton of the old games, Super Mario Bros. 1, Super Mario Bros. 2 and 3, and then Lost Levels. This was probably one of the first times I played Lost Levels was on Super Mario All-Stars. On the Super Nintendo, of course, but this is the Wii version. Again, Super Smash Brothers is an amazing game. If you've never played this game, you definitely are missing out. Like, come on, this is Brawl. This is probably the second or third best game. Now, before Ultimate, I would say the second, but I think Ultimate's probably the best game, and then maybe Melee, but that depends on the day. Don't quote me on that, because I will flip that answer all the time. Next, we got WarioWare Smooth Moves. If you like a ton of mini games, this is a game you should definitely check out. It's like Mario Party, but without the party. You just play the games. It really is a ton of fun. And last but not least, Super Mario Bros. Wii. This is the new version, I guess, whatever that means, but this is a ton of fun, and if you like Mario, you should definitely check that out. So with that being said, these games are some awesome ones on the system. I love collecting for the Wii because there's some weird and wacky games. Go play Lumberjacks. It's an interesting one. I don't even think I played Disney Princess Enchanted Journey, but I might. I don't actually remember that one, to be honest. Nerf N-Strike Elite, a Nerf game on the Wii. Come on, that's awesome. And last but not least, Family Party 30 Great Games. This was absolutely over the top. There's a ton of ridiculous third-party games that you could buy for cheap for the Wii, and that's why I made it on this list. Before we actually talk about the third console and final console, I do want to shout some out that I've kind of been wrestling with, but I didn't think they really necessarily made it to this list. And the first one is the Nintendo Switch. It's out right now. Everyone's collecting for it, so I'm not talking about that. Then the Nintendo 64 is one that I'm always collecting for, but I really don't find too many games anymore for it that I don't have, so whatever. And last but not least is probably the Xbox original. You guys know I love picking up games and talking about that system. It's got a bunch of cheap, awesome games, but I haven't really been collecting that much lately. I just haven't found any games for it. Last console we have to talk about is the 3DS and the 2DS line. Now, I am a big fan of this line from when it started and came out to now, even post its kind of death, I guess. It's not in production anymore. I am a big fan of the 2DS because of the price point and it doesn't have that 3D capability that I don't even use. So usually I'm either playing on this or my orange and white 2DS, which is an XL. That's in the other room, and I've used that one recently, so I just didn't want to go and get it. But this system is totally awesome. It offers 2 screens. If you didn't know this, it has 2 screens. Obviously, it's got an analog stick and a D-pad, an A, B, and XY button. It has a home and a start buttons down there, and the power. There are L and R buttons, but that's for the most part all the system has. However, the games for this are really awesome. I know someone's gonna be like, hey, you didn't mention the 3D aspect. I don't use it, so I'm not going to mention that here. If you do use it, that's cool, but I don't, so bear with me. First off, these games are totally amazing, and I think are why the system is so awesome. Yes, like the PlayStation Portable, this is a portable system. It's a handheld, so it's totally awesome there. Sadly, you can't get anything to plug it up to a TV for like capturing or anything unless you have like a modded one, which those are pretty expensive. I've looked into getting one. That might actually be awesome in the future, but for now I have what I have, and it's just the systems. I have like 6 or 7 down here that are like special editions. Like I have a Monster Hunters one that looks like this. It's really awesome. I got a Zelda one that just has the Triforce on it, and then I have a Mario, I think this is Mario Bros 2. On the back it even has Luigi, so those are pretty cool. But like I said, the games are what make systems. First off, Pokemon Sun and Moon is the newest one. It's a totally amazing series. The Pokemon series, of course. If you've never played a Pokemon game, maybe pick up a 3DS one and play it. You'll have a bunch of fun. Super Mario 3D Land. This is a Mario game, obviously a 3D version. This is one of the first Mario games on the system, I believe. Next, we've got Super Mario Maker 3DS. Basically Mario Maker, but for the 3DS. This came out on the Wii U as well. It's a ton of fun because you can make your own Mario game. Next, we've got Detective Pikachu. Detective Pikachu is probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite games on the system. Who doesn't love Pikachu that's talking, that actually helps you solve crimes, or at least the story? It's a pretty awesome game. We got Super Smash Brothers. When this game came out, I loved it. I picked it up for this system on the 3DS, and then it came out later on the Wii U, and I actually took this to the launch of the Wii U version, and I played it the whole night. Let's not kidding, I really did that. Yoshi's Woolly World is a ton of fun. Again, it's another one of those cute games when it comes to making characters and games and backgrounds all out of yarn. Nintendo knows how to do these things. They're totally amazing. Mario Kart 7. If you can't get a Mario Kart 8, you don't want to spend that kind of money, get this game. It's cheap, it's a ton of fun, and you can't go wrong. Then you've got some cool remakes. You got Zelda Majora's Mask 3D. They also have Ocarina of Time. Then some more Pokemon games. Here we're talking about Pokemon X and Y. Again, awesome games in the series. If you're a fan of Fire Emblem, they've got a few games there. I've got Birthright and Conquest. We could talk about so many more games. New Super Mario Bros. 2, Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes. We've got Mario Party Island Tour. We've got Cubic Ninja. We've got Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D, Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. We've got WarioWare Gold and Bravely Default. There are so many awesome games for this system. If you have $150, you can pick up a system and quite a bit of games. There's a ton of bundles, and that's why this has to make it on my list, because I'm always trying to pick up those bundles, whether it's for the consoles or for the games that they come with, and you can find some really awesome ones. So there you go. I've been sick this week and it's been terrible, but that's okay. These are some awesome systems that I really enjoy collecting for, and I wanted you to know about it. If you are collecting consoles and you have ideas, comment them down below and let me know what you're collecting right now. But with that being said, that's all I've got for you guys. Peace.